Welcome back to Andersen Acres. We're hanging out here with Arwen, just following her around. And today we're diving into one of the biggest myths in the hobby farming world. Will goats really eat anything? You've probably heard the jokes. Goats eating tin cans, shirts, your kids' homework. But how much of that is true and how much is total nonsense? And more importantly, what should goats eat and what should they absolutely never have? Okay? So if you've ever wondered whether your goats can snack on pumpkin, munch on pine trees, or if your boot is actually in danger, stick around. We're going to burst some myths and save some goats from tummy trouble. So let's start with the classic myth. Goats eat tin cans. No, goats do not eat tin cans, but they might chew on one. Goats are browsers, not grazers, so they explore the world with their mouth. That means they'll nibble at just about anything to check it out, to figure out what it is. But chewing isn't the same as eating. Okay? Goats will mouth plastic, chew on ropes, even gnaw at clothing. But they're not usually swallowing those things, unless they're bored, mineral deficient, or desperate. This is why enrichment, minerals, and a proper diet are so important. If your goat is chewing on your garden hose, there's a reason. And it's probably not that they're hungry. It's that they're curious or they're missing something from their diet that they're trying to find. So now, let's talk snacks. Let's talk what snacks these poor guys can have. Some safe and loved goat treats include pumpkins, carrots, apples, not a ton of apple seeds, but apples in general, pine needles in moderation, blackberry and raspberry bushes, both the leaves and the stems, they like them, and banana peels. These are all healthy in small amounts, but just like us, goats shouldn't live on treats. Their main diet should be quality forage, hay, and a proper grain or pellet ration if needed. And always, always have free choice minerals available. Our girl, free ranges. She can get whatever she needs. If your goat doesn't free range, they may have a more difficult time finding the exact foods they need. Now here's where it gets serious. There are some foods and plants that are downright dangerous for goats. Okay? These include avocados. Don't give any of your barn animals avocados. Seriously. Yeah, some animals can have the flesh in small amounts, but just don't. Hello, my man. Kissing the camera. So don't give them avocados. Don't give them rhubarb leaves. You shouldn't eat rhubarb leaves either. Eat the stalks. It's more fun. Hi. It's always about shadow facts around here in Andersen Acres. Everything is about shadow facts. They also shouldn't have like your azaleas and other ornamental shrubs. They should not have that. They should not eat your lilacs, and they shouldn't have anything from the nightshade family. They can have a tomato, but they shouldn't eat the plant, right? The tomato stems and leaves. They shouldn't eat eggplants. They shouldn't eat potatoes. They shouldn't have chocolate. I don't know why I have to keep saying that one, but people ask me, can I give chocolate to my goat? No, don't give them chocolate. And don't give them moldy bread or moldy feed. Mold can kill your goat very, very fast. Okay? Don't give them moldy stuff. And generally, here's where this one gets dicey. I generally tell people don't feed your animals lawn clippings, even though mine eat them all the time. And that's because people tend to leave the lawn clippings in piles and they start to ferment, and then they give the lawn clippings to the animals. You can't give fermented lawn clippings, things that have started to break down and rot, to your goats. Okay? You can't. So don't. Some of these things can cause bloat, others can cause organ failure. Just because a goat will eat something doesn't mean it's safe. So that whole, well, they won't eat something that's bad for them, that's nonsense. Okay? Don't listen to that. Don't feed them stuff you're not supposed to feed them. They aren't great at knowing the difference between what's a good food and what's terrible food. So don't. All right, so little confession time. Here are some of the weirder things we've caught our goats nibbling on at Andersen Acres. A glove. That's not exactly nutritious, but okay. The camera tripod more than once. Literally, if I leave that tripod behind me out for very long, she's going to start eating it. Pant legs, my shirt. Yep. Chicken feathers, don't ask. The plastic buckets, she's weird. She's weird. She's tried it all. But again, chewing is not eating, right? Chewing is not eating. Just because she's chewed it doesn't mean she ate it. Think of them like toddlers with hooves, okay? I don't know where she's going. Let's see if we can film her without going in the pen. But think of them like toddlers with hooves, okay? If it fits in their mouth, they have to taste it. They have to at least try, right? That's the way they work. So how do we keep our goats safe? Well, quick checklist. Keep your pens clean of things like plastic, string, or trash. That won't help your goat. Offer enrichment like branches, climbing toys, new things to explore. She gets to explore all the time. She has a great time. Provide free choice minerals because this helps reduce cravings for non-food items. It makes sure they have all the stuff they need. Yes, hi, Shadowfax. Hi. You want to supervise new foraging areas and fence off dangerous plants because your goat is not that smart. They're lovely. They're not always super smart. Okay. So use slow feeders or hay nets to help reduce boredom. She's going through the fence. Yeah, we don't keep her contained. We're not even going to pretend we try. She's now on the other side of the fence. So here's a few questions I get a lot that I'm just going to answer rapid fire. I get asked, can goats eat grass clippings if they're super fresh? If they've been sitting in a pile fermenting? No. Can goats eat pumpkin seeds? Yes, of course they can. I had a fly on my arm. They can eat pumpkin seeds. They are not an effective dewormer. They are effective sort of at preventing things like worms, but once you have a worm outbreak, you can't use pumpkin seeds. You need an actual dewormer. But they love pumpkin seeds. Just don't try to use it as a dewormer. Can they drink milk? No. Babies, so kids, can drink goat's milk from their mama or a goat replacement formula. But no, you can't give them cow's milk, and you shouldn't give adult goats any kind of milk. Can goats eat bread? Smaller pieces on occasion, not a ton of it, and not moldy. Okay? Think of bread as junk food. They shouldn't eat an entire loaf of bread the same way you shouldn't eat an entire bag of chips. Of course, that's not to say we don't eat an entire bag of chips. Why do chips not have zip tops? If they didn't want me to eat it all in one serving, wouldn't it have a zip top? Think about it. Anyway, so next time someone tells you goats eat tin cans, confidently say, not mine. Goats are curious, smart, and occasionally ridiculous, but with the right care and diet, they'll thrive, and so will your hobby farm. That's about it for us here today at Andersen Acres. Drop us a comment below if your goats have ever tried something really weird when it comes to what they'd like to try to snack on. Or if you've got questions about what's safe for them to munch. I'd love to hear from you. We'll see you tomorrow.